reaching over 100,000 viewers per week. Hi, I'm Ron Lutters, executive producer of Hub Radio Phoenix. We don't pretend to be journalists, but we're not afraid to say what's on our minds. We thank you for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing to Hub Radio Phoenix. Stay tuned, stay faithful, as the best is yet to come.
From the studios of Hub Radio Phoenix, it's the Jay Lawrence Show. Now, here's Jay.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Jay Lawrence Show. You know, Jay is out. He has asked me to fill in for him. We do wish him well, and we do anticipate that he will be here next week. I am Ray Michaels. You see me on the other shows here on Hub Radio, and we have our very special guest with us tonight. This is Major General Michael T. McGuire, also known as Mick McGuire.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ray. It's great to be on Jay's show and great to have you here with me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was so excited when I received the phone call from Jay that he wanted me to step in because I've been wanting to talk to you now for quite a long time. Now, your resume goes on and on and on. And I want to take this first segment right now. And do you prefer to be called Major General, Omnipotent Icon?
You can call me General McGuire. That's the
General
easiest
McGuire.
One.
All right. But
way.
you do go by Mick. And
call me Mick or General McGuire, either one.
And I want everybody to know that General McGuire is running for U.S. Senate here in Arizona. Now, you can go to his website. It's electmick, electmick.com, and they can find out more information about you. I happen to go to the website as well.
Yep.
A lot of information there, and also how they can help you with your campaign.
You bet. Early in the campaign, for all the viewers and listeners out there, it's important. This is the first time in Arizona we've been allowed to qualify digital signatures on federal petitions. So those that are running for the House and Senate, you can go to electmick.com, click on the link and sign my petition. Need just about 7,000 petitions statewide. We need to qualify in at least 3 counties. My objective is to get qualifying signatures in all 15 counties, but I'm certain we can do that just with the listeners here on your show to go to electmick.com and sign the petition.
Absolutely, yeah. This is a huge audience. So I know that everybody's out there and they see that there's a lot of candidates that are running, a lot of people who have been in politics for many years. I believe this is your first
Never run for dog catcher.
Yeah.
Dog catcher was already taken, so I went for U.S. Senate.
Well, it's very similar. Those two jobs are very
It is. Well,
very
you're
similar.
right. There are a lot of dogs to be caught.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So I know that many of our audience are going to go right to the website. They're going to find out a little bit more. But for the sake of time, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from originally.
You bet.
How you got into the military, how you advanced in ranks. Major
Clerical
General.
errors.
You're and you know what? Good for you.
You
were in the right place at the right time.
Right place at the right time.
Yeah. So where are you from originally?
So I say I'm a 4th generation Arizonan. My great-grandfathers came here in 1930. The first was a roundhouse scheduler in Tucson for the Southern Pacific Railroad. The second to arrive was a surgeon retired from the U.S. Army Medical Corps, had been a surgeon in Spanish-American War and then World War I. Arizona was a new state, decided to come on out. He also settled in Pima County. And my mom and dad were raised in Tucson, and my father asked the recruiters, any Navy in Arizona? He said no. He said, I'll take it. So while I was a kid, I was born on the West Coast. He was West Coast Navy. And when he got out of the Navy in the late 60s, he started his business there, and all my extended family was here. So I went to high school out in Southern California at Arcadia High School out there. And 3 weeks after graduation, went to the Air Force Academy. Spent 14 years in the active Air Force, was an F-16 pilot, flew in the first Gulf War, deployed a couple of times subsequent to that. And then literally 5 months before 9/11, my wife and I and our 3 daughters moved to Tucson to be an F-16 instructor. I had extended family there. My brother and his wife were there, and figured I would spend the balance of my career as an F-16 instructor down in Tucson. Obviously, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about this later. 5 months later, we had 9/11, 20th anniversary that we memorialized that tragedy this Saturday. And 8 years ago, Governor Brewer appointed me to her cabinet to be the commanding general of the Arizona National Guard. 8,300 soldiers and airmen, was the commanding general down at the 162nd and the air side. And then spent a year and a half with Governor Brewer, and then 6.5 years as the commander of the Guard up here in Phoenix under Governor Ducey. And as both the state emergency manager and the commanding general, we organized the largest mobilization of the 8,300 since 1942 in the year prior to my departure.
Wow. Tell us, wow, what a amazing resume. And you said it was mostly clerical error.
Yeah,
which,
that's right. A lot of clerical errors.
Yeah. So 8,000 men. Now, what was the deployment that happened since the 40s?
So on March 15th of 2015, we in Arizona, in the first time in our history, in 1933, the Stafford Act was passed. Talks about the idea of using unique emergency authority vested in the president in the event of a national emergency. And in Arizona, the first statewide Stafford Act emergency that we had declared was in 2015 for the pandemic. So at the height of the challenges that we faced in Arizona in the first week of June of 2020, we had over 3,000 of the 8,300 on orders for COVID-19 response. We had 1,495 of them supporting 5 sheriff's agencies in the state and 12 local law enforcement for civil unrest. We had 812, I think was the number at that point, supporting our great Border Patrol, Immigration Enforcement, and ICE folks at the border, and another 250 supporting the Four Peaks fire, if you remember that.
Right.
Last summer we had a massive wildfire out there south of Payson in the Four Peaks area. And so you add to it the almost 2,200 guardsmen that are on full-time duty anyway, maintaining equipment, doing the F-16 mission like I had done, doing the alert mission, doing the counter-narcotics mission. You say, well, 85%, where were the rest? The rest were all police, fire, or medical workers, where if I had called them to duty, it would have been a zero-sum gain. We would have been taking somebody out of one of our local hospitals or local police departments, and I don't gain anything that way supporting the citizens of this great state. So as a lot of people don't know, but they should know, the oldest position in our government, governor, first territorial governor, 1634, second oldest position, adjutant general, the position I was in, 1636. You're going to find that position in all 50 states, and that's the one position in every cabinet that is both federally and state recognized as a commissioned officer all the time. So 100% federal, 100% state, 100% of the time. So in this particular case, we're always training to be the primary combat reserve for the U.S. Army and the U.S. Air Force. But in this case, we're the first response force when we have to pivot to support local first responders, and that's what we were doing.
Yeah, you in that position, and knowing that you have about 8,000 team below you, you have to be ready at a moment's notice for just about anything, a national disaster, a border insurrection happening within the state. I mean, they have to be ready at all times.
Right, and what we do is we train for our military missions, and I tell people, we train for the most complex problems, but it's the command structure, the good order and discipline, our ability to do logistics, sustainment, that really makes us capable of pivoting that back to our local communities. If you remember back to March 15th of last year, when we were first put on duty, my primary focus, as I said at every one of the press conferences when I was up there with the governor, was I was laser focused on making sure those most at risk, those over 65 and those that had some comorbidity that was listed, were safe, where there's only 8,300 of us, and our primary focus was providing food, ice, water, and medical supplies to those in greatest need. You know, and you remember early on, we were just working food sustainment, water security, and delivering PPE to places like Navajo Nation, rural communities, places all over the state.
Well, you know, it seems to me, because we've talked a lot on Hub Radio with regard to how everything played out with regard to this pandemic. You know, I don't think anybody expected this to happen, although Johns Hopkins does run scenarios like this. They have another one, SPARS, I think, is coming up in 2025. But it's amazing because I didn't see, the narrative didn't say, let's protect the people that are most at risk. They just kind of did a blanket over everybody, and the way that you looked at that and said, no, we need to focus on the people that really need it first. I didn't see that around the country.
Yeah, it was funny. When we first started, I got a call from the guys in the Pentagon and said, why are you doing this food sustainment thing and helping restock grocery shelves and do a lot of these other things? And I said, well, my biggest fear as the state emergency manager was less about the pandemic and the loss of public confidence in our systems, our sustainment systems and those types of things. And so what I felt was important was that we presented to the public in Arizona, we were going to stay laser focused on making sure that we could keep things as normal as possible for the things we needed to sustain the community. Food, ice, water, infrastructure, electricity, wherever there might be a gap. And that, you know, truthfully, in our state, in Arizona, those 8,300 guardsmen, I think only about 400 of them are medical specialists. And, you know, you think about Banner Health, for example.
Right.
I think they have 35,000 medical specialists. So we would be just a small drop in the bucket of what we could do in terms of helping patients, but would be huge in providing public confidence and making sure there wasn't any panic or despair that set in the community.
Well, I admire you for thinking outside of the box and doing that, because that is really amazing, at least from my perspective. So give us an idea for those who are watching the Jay Lawrence Show, and thank you so much. We have Major General Michael T. McGuire, electmic.com. When you talk about National Guard, let everybody know how that differs from fully active Army, Navy.
Right. As I told you, I spent 14 years in the active Air Force. I was commissioned right out of the Air Force Academy. The National Guard is the primary combat reserve for the United States Army and the United States Air Force. It is also the forebearer of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Space Force that you see today. You know, when we won independence from King George, we raised the Continental Army through the 13 colonial militias. The total size of the force is estimated about 430,000. Only 80,000 of them in the Continental Army. The rest by of and through those 13 colonial militias. So when the Constitution was written, the militia clause still exists to this day. It says that the federal government has a responsibility to organize, tell us what size of formation should look like, arm, go purchase, you know, whether it be Apache helicopters or whatever it might be, and then provide the training discipline, you know, how we're going to train for these missions. And then the governors have the responsibility to commission officers and train the militias to this force. 1824, the name was changed to the National Guard, and it endures today. And like I said, we're about to celebrate our 384th birthday here in December for the National Guard. A long time.
It's a very long time. So if somebody, men, women, they're in the National Guard, give me an idea. Do they have regular jobs? They come in on the weekend? How does that
exactly.
work? How does that work?
So of the 8,300, about 2,200 are military on duty all the time. The balance are your neighbors. They're all your neighbors. They all live in Arizona, but they are your teachers, your factory workers, your transportation workers, work in retail, work in different types of industries. And what I told you is when we mobilized 85% of them, that's bringing people in from other careers onto duty. And somebody asked me what was the greatest, was the high point of your career. The high point of my career was going through 1 year of that. Even though there was a lot of duress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of challenges, not one soldier airman declined our request for them to come on orders voluntarily.
Wow.
I had no one that I had to involuntarily mobilize.
That is amazing.
Amazing patriotic spirit and shows you the depth of patriotic capital that exists in this great state.
That is amazing. Now, you talked about you were a flight instructor for the F-19.
F-16.
F-16.
Yep,
16.
that
The
was
19
my.
was the other one, yeah.
Yeah, no, 19 was one we passed by, but yeah, there's an F-15, a F-16, F-18. I was an F-16 guy.
Wow. So when you're, everybody's seen Top Gun, right? They see these jets flying around,
Right.
and how glamorous it is, and how amazing and how tough these guys are, and they ride motorcycles, they do all that stuff. Give us a reality check from.
I don't have a
from
motorcycle,
Hollywood.
but yes,
From
many of my
Hollywood.
buddies do.
So, I mean, do people go in there because they want to fly jets?
Oh yeah, when I was at the Air Force Academy, I had not we could have another show about how I ended up at the Air Force Academy, but it literally is a series of fortunate or unfortunate events depending on your perspective. But yeah, most of them had wanted to do this since they were very, very young. And a lot of people really desire to do that. I got there and said, hey, why is everybody around here wearing that universal leadership badge? It's like a set of pilot wings. So
Right.
when I graduated, I said, go do that. And had the good opportunity to fly nearly 4,000 hours in the F-16. It was amazing.
That is amazing. Now, stick around because we have got plenty more with Major General Michael T. McGuire. This is the Jay Lawrence Show. I am your guest host, Ray Michaels. We'll be back right after this.
Are you tired of the long lines and impersonal service you get at the post office? Well, we have a solution for you. Pack Mail is an all-in-one mail center conveniently located in the Fry Shopping Center at 3218 East Bell Road, right here in Phoenix. Owned and operated by Arizona residents Mark and Vicky Battaglia, you can be sure of getting personalized professional service. They will pack, crate, freight, and ship your items anywhere in the world. They work with all the major carriers like DHL, UPS, USPS, and Federal Express. Need an address for your home business or startup company? They have P.O. boxes on site where you can receive and pick up your mail anytime, and their knowledgeable and courteous staff will find a way to ship that awkward or heavy item. You can even have your packages picked up and delivered for a small fee. Their motto is, if you can imagine it, we can ship it. Drop in on the good folks at Pack Mail and let them do the work for you. Pack Mail can be reached at 602-971-2300 or email at info@weshipphoenix.com. That's Pack Mail, 602-971-2300 or info@weshipphoenix.com.
When it comes to roof work, people ask, do you know a guy? Let me save you a little time and money. Call me. I'm Lori Clark, owner of Right Way Roofing. Our family started in the roofing business in 1963 on the promise, there's only one way, the right way. We protect your roof with thick, waterproof, rubberized asphalt, not felt paper. So when it's time to repair or replace your roof and you need a guy, I'm your girl.
Right Way Roofing, and we do it right. We'll always keep you watertight.
You have a great business, terrific products, outstanding services, so where is everybody? It's simple. They don't know you're here. Why not? We didn't tell them. Well, let me introduce you to the Media Maven. She is the expert in getting your advertising message to the right people in the right places for the right prices. She can make your business a household name. She can make this claim because she's been doing this for years for large and small businesses. You need an expert who knows who to talk to and how to make the best deal for your business. She has the right radio and television contacts for your budget, whatever it is. That's Kathy, the Media Maven. She can put you on the map, the one that leads to success and prosperity. Call Kathy, the Media Maven, at 602-524-0947. That's Kathy, the Media Maven, at 602-524-0947.
You're watching Jay Lawrence on Hub Radio Phoenix.
Well, welcome back to the Jay Lawrence Show. I am your guest host, Ray Michaels. We are here with Major General Michael T. McGuire. Wow. You know, we were talking about flying jets, and, you know, everybody thinks that it's so romantic. It's just so amazing. Is it really like that?
It's very demanding, very
Yeah.
challenging.
It's got to be hard on your body.
Somebody asked me this yesterday, who is a small general aviation pilot. I think the F-16 was the easiest aircraft I ever had to fly in terms of taking off and landing and doing those types of things. but is by far the most challenging weapon system to employ in terms of the things they had to manage, doing both the air-to-air and air-to-ground missions and managing all of the scenarios you could be put in. But it was a lot of fun, and so if you enjoy playing three-dimensional chess, aerial combat and multi-role missions is very much that. And so flying itself was great, but that was the easiest part of it. Just, making the trees big and small and taking off and landing, that was the easy part. It was managing this whole team and working together to be a lethal force that could effectively put warheads on foreheads. That's what we did.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, I know on behalf of everybody here in Arizona, we thank you so much for your service. And I know just by reading this extensive resume that you were in Desert Storm.
I was.
Tell us a little bit about that. What year were you in there?
So I deployed third week of August of 1990. Saddam, I think, invaded Kuwait July 31st of 90. First units deployed about a week later. I was in the 3rd F-16 Squadron to arrive in theater, the 4th Fighter Squadron out of Hill Air Force Base. We were the first squadron to leave Hill. There were 2 squadrons from Shaw Air Force Base that were already over there. I deployed to Minhad Air Base in the UAE, and I spent the next 7 months there. I said I have 3 daughters, a beautiful wife, and 3 daughters. I've known my wife since the 9th grade. Our oldest daughter, she was 6 months pregnant with our oldest daughter when I left, and when I got home, she was a little over 3 months old.
Wow.
Yeah.
For most people who don't travel, UAE, United Arab Emirates,
Yeah.
and it's a different world. And the best advice that I could give to somebody, I've been very blessed. I've had a chance to travel to almost 100 countries around the world. When you get over there, you think that it's just like here in America, that you walk over to the tap, you turn it on, and fresh water comes out, and you flush the toilet, and everything goes to the right place. But it's not like that at all. And it's kind of a rude awakening, especially for a young man, young woman serving in the military, going over there, and your eyes are just so opened to what's happening, especially in the Middle East.
Yeah, I think when I landed, I think it was August 26th, the day we landed in Minhad. We flew a 16-hour mission from Shaw Air Force Base. So we flew from Utah to South Carolina, spent the night, and flew 1 hop, 10 air refuelings from South Carolina into the UAE at Minhad. That's a long trip,
How many
by the
hours?
way.
How many
16 hours.
And
In a single-seat aircraft. No, you can't stand up. You can't move. I mean, you can move a little bit, but
this is all air refueling.
yeah, no, we refueled
probably,
10 times to get there.
You've probably seen this in the movie where they send down almost like an umbilical cord, right?
Yeah, it's a steel boom, and F-16 has about 2 hours of fuel on board, so 16 hours, you're not going to make it unless you get fuel. So we crossed the Atlantic through the Straits of Gibraltar, across Saudi Arabia, and then into the UAE. And when we landed, for those that are from Phoenix, the thing I most remember was opening the cockpit, and it was the same 110 as it is here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
But it was 80% humidity. Because it was, 15 miles
gosh.
inland from the ocean.
Well, the Middle East, I mean, for all of recorded history, there's been a lot of issues over there. And, tragically, we've just had a withdrawal from Afghanistan in not a traditional way, not it's been, I don't know really the words to describe how it was implemented, but I wanted to get your perspective on maybe, being in Afghanistan, and, he said it's a never-ending war, but yet for 18 months, there was no U.S. servicemen or women that died. So I don't know, from your perspective, you let me know, but I don't know if it was so much as a war or more of a peacekeeping mission. And I know that there's been a narrative that said, well, we can't stay there forever, yet we are still in South Korea, we're still in Japan, we're still in Germany. So I wanted to get your view, your perspective from your experience in the armed forces, just regarding the exit. And then I want to get into the refugees coming in and the Americans left behind.
Yeah, I think I've said this multiple times. I know of no more poorly executed strategic, operational, and tactical level decision than the retrograde and execution of that retrograde from Kabul. As you mentioned, 8 weeks prior to the withdrawal, we had freedom of movement in the city of Kabul. And we turned over Bagram Air Base, and we turned over 6 others. I've heard a lot of people talk to me about that out on the campaign trail. That's true. But Bagram was our most secure facility.
Wasn't that the most sophisticated air base?
Well, it was a big runway. We had a completely secure perimeter. We had the ability to get any size aircraft in and out of there, all types of aircraft, all capabilities. And it also was the home of the largest detention center and prisoner camp that was being maintained for the terrorists that were captured. And so once we turned that over and them releasing, the Taliban releasing those 6,000 terrorists, that's a big problem. It's a big problem for this country. It affects us now. And I'm very concerned about our security here in this country, not just at our southern border, but through our ports, the northern border, everywhere, because we're coming up on that 20-year anniversary, and that culture is very big on memorializing certain events.
Well, 9/11, or the 11th of September, is a very significant date in their history, I guess, in their faith, in their history, in the way that they live. So do you know a little bit more about the significance of 9/11?
Well, I think for us, I don't know a lot about the significance in their culture. What I can tell you is that there is a strong, the group that chants death to America, they don't get interned at a prisoner camp at Bagram and decide to change their mind. And so if they're released, their focus will still be on that. Now, I count on our great law enforcement officials, our great local Border Patrol agents, our great immigration services and ICE, Port Police, and the rest to work hard on those problems. But we clearly are at greater risk because of the way I think Biden has been derelict in his duty with the way we executed that withdrawal. You know, you also asked the question about the war itself. I tell people all the time that we did not fight a 20-year war there. We fought 20 consecutive one-year wars, which means that they each have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the problem with that is that I do agree that ultimately we have to figure out an exit strategy, a conditions-based exit strategy with certain security parameters in place, and the ability for us to get every American out should have been a condition, not a date like August 31st by which we would leave. And I've been asked multiple times, General, how many people are still there? And my response is, does it matter? If there's even one who's your brother, your sister, your mother, your cousin, your nephew, that's one too many. And we always take an oath that we're not going to leave any brother or sister in arms behind. And I've never seen anything like this.
This is with all of the armed forces. You never leave anybody behind. And, you know, with the reports that I've been receiving, President Trump had it laid out. And he said if you have more than 5% of the country, if the Taliban occupied more than 5%, we're not leaving. At the time where Biden made the withdrawal and made the decision to do that, they had occupied 60% of the country. Now, at this point right now, and I think we've reported this on other Hub radio programs, the Taliban has the 14th largest military in the world.
Right.
And it's the most advanced military. They have all of our equipment. I can't imagine us just walking away. I mean, you know, either you take it or you destroy it, but you don't give your information and your you don't give away the secrets to the enemy.
Yeah, I think that the classified and cryptographic material, I'm comfortable that both the way we utilize it and the fact that we could remove or zero a lot of that out, I'm not nearly as concerned about that as just the military hardware, the ammunition, the weapons, and the equipment that's there that can be turned against, especially the women and those that assisted us in that community. I find it surprising that a lot on the left talk about how they advance women's rights and taking care of women. As a father of a wife and 3 daughters, they clearly have never dealt with the Taliban.
You know, a lot of people don't realize this, and unless you've traveled and you see how different cultures react, we think in a certain way. We have a Western way of thinking, right? And I don't think that anybody who grew up in the Western part of the world thinks about putting on a jacket and blow themselves up, because life is valuable to us. There's a value. With other cultures, similar to a lot of the Arab countries, life is not valuable. Dying is valuable, and they think nothing of it. So if we tried to talk somebody out of detonating a vest with reason from a Western perspective, it'd be like talking to a wall.
Yeah, I think that, as I said, I was in Minhad. I've been to the UAE multiple times, to Saudi, to Qatar, to Kuwait. Great communities, great people, great cultures. Clearly, there is a violent extremism sect in really any organization that can metastasize, but in Afghanistan in particular, the components of Sharia law and the things that they're looking to do in that country is very regressive and repressive towards women and those that are not in a select class. And it's just people that have never seen it would think that can't be that way, but that's the way it is.
The only way I can describe it is it's a tribal mentality.
Right.
That's what it is. Well, you're listening to the Jay Lawrence Show. I'm your guest host, Ray Michaels. We have with us Major General Michael T. McGuire. He is running for U.S. Senate here in the state of Arizona, and you can reach him at electmic.com. We're going to be right back.
When it comes to roof work, people ask, do you know a guy? Let me save you a little time and money. Call me. I'm Lori Clark, owner of Right Way Roofing. Our family started in the roofing business in 1963 on the promise there's only one way, the right way. We protect your roof with thick, waterproof, rubberized asphalt, not felt paper. So when it's time to repair or replace your roof and you need a guy, I'm your girl.
We're Right Way Roofing and we do it right. We'll always keep you watertight.
You have a great business, terrific products, outstanding services, so where is everybody? It's simple. They don't know you're here. Why not? We didn't tell them. Well, let me introduce you to the Media Maven. She is the expert in getting your advertising message to the right people in the right places for the right prices. She can make your business a household name. She can make this claim because she's been doing this for years for large and small businesses. You need an expert who knows who to talk to and how to make the best deal for your business. She has the right radio and television contacts for your budget, whatever it is. That's Kathy, the Media Maven. She can put you on the map, the one that leads to success and prosperity. Call Kathy, the Media Maven, at 602-524-0947. That's Kathy, the Media Maven, at 602-524-0947.
Are you tired of the long lines and impersonal service you get at the post office? Well, we have a solution for you. Pack Mail is an all-in-one mail center conveniently located in the Fry Shopping Center at 3218 East Bell Road, right here in Phoenix. Owned and operated by Arizona residents Mark and Vicky Battaglia, you can be sure of getting personalized professional service. They will pack, crate, freight, and ship your items anywhere in the world. They work with all the major carriers like DHL, UPS, USPS, and Federal Express. Need an address for your home business or startup company? They have P.O. boxes on site where you can receive and pick up your mail anytime, and their knowledgeable and courteous staff will find a way to ship that awkward or heavy item. You can even have your packages picked up and delivered for a small fee. Their motto is, if you can imagine it, we can ship it. Drop in on the good folks at Pack Mail and let them do the work for you. Pack Mail can be reached at 602-971-2300 or email at info@weshipphoenix.com. That's Pack Mail, 602-971-2300 or info@weshipphoenix.com.
I'm Senator Sonny Borelli, and when I come to Phoenix, I always want to be informed, so I tune into Hub Radio Phoenix. You want to be informed? I suggest you do the same. Make sure you tune in.
You're watching Jay Lawrence on Hub Radio Phoenix.
Well, welcome back to the Jay Lawrence Show. I'm your guest host, Ray Michaels. We're here with Major General Michael T. McGuire. You know, we were talking about how different the cultures are in the Middle East to here. And I wanted to bring that up because we have now, I know our governor recently said we're welcoming in a lot of the Afghan refugees. He's welcoming them here into Arizona. And I know some people are saying great, and some people are saying, wait a second, we still have veterans, and we still have homeless, and we still have Americans that we need to take care of. So I wanted to bring that up and know that the Arizona National Guard that you were in charge of, 8,000 people, that they're going to be involved in any type of refugees that are going to be coming here, and that they're going to be the line of defense. Okay, so hypothetically, we have people coming in. They say that they're vetted, right? And this was fact-checked by CNN. And CNN, yes, we can fact-check. Yes, they are being vetted because the president said they're being vetted. But that's really uncertain.
Right.
So you have a completely different culture coming into Arizona, United States. And we've had issue with assimilation in the past. And so if it was okay to throw trash, if it was okay to do other things where you came from, they're going to think it's okay unless they're instructed otherwise.
Yeah. So I'm not clear yet on how it's going to operate here in Arizona. What I do know is that there has been 4 installations selected around the country as places to house, I think they're called SIV, Special Immigration Visas. Those are folks that left Afghanistan and have now been brought to the United States. I am concerned as a citizen about vetting those folks because just like we had problems in 2014 with the undocumented immigrant children problem, if you remember here in Arizona, I was the state emergency manager, and we have a huge surge at the southern border right now. We have a very hard time validating things like date of birth, place of birth, and those other things that we could use as relevant data to vet them. That said, I also think that here in Arizona, as I understand it, I know there is no National Guard installation that is appropriate to house them as a recent commander of that. So it would obviously be a mission that would have to fall on one of the federal installations like Yuma Marine Corps Air Station, Luke Air Force Base, Davis Monthan, and Fort Huachuca. And I'm unclear as to what the Guard's role would be in that. But to give you an example of what we've done in the past when there's been issues with large influx of migrants, setting aside support to Border Patrol, on the undocumented alien children situation, we were asked to do medical screening for measles, mumps, rubella on a lot of the children that were being held and then moved off to military installations. The bigger picture for me, concern is that how do you manage this crisis here inside a state? And as you mentioned, how do you integrate them into the community? How do you manage that on an installation? How do you provide security for the folks that are living on the installation, like a place at Davis Monthan or Yuma Marine Corps Air Station? Those are all issues that I think we've kind of rushed into because of the chaotic and tragic way we left. You know, you've got people falling off the sides of C-17s.
Yeah.
You have a tragic event where 13 U.S. servicemen and women were killed. We had, hundreds of others killed and injured outside the gates. We had fallen subject to Afghani control of an airport that we didn't have complete freedom of movement at. And all of these things that you're seeing happening now are a cascade of what I said was the worst military decision in my lifetime. Completely derelict in his duty, the president, and I still to this day do not understand why the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs said this is an untenable way for us to depart. And if they felt that way, then you need to step down and tell the president you need to find somebody else to do it.
Right.
But in fact, we executed it, and now it's chaotic. And I am the first to exhibit grace and compassion to everyone. This state is not anti-immigrant. You know, the biggest challenge we're facing in this state until just 3 or 4 weeks ago was the fact that in the first 8 months of the year, 1 million people crossed the southwest border alone,
right.
setting aside other ports and borders illegally. And I've been on multiple news stations saying, I can't understand how the American people believe it should be easier to traffic a 9-year-old female across the border into the sex trade than it is to get lunch in Los Angeles right now.
Right.
It is easier to do the former, cross the border illegally, than it is to get lunch in LA.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Not at all. And you know, there's a lot of reports too. So the concerns that you're bringing up are extremely valid. Number one, we have a lot of people coming over here, and considering that it seems to be top priority for our president to say the health of the nation, right? We're going through a pandemic. We have to get the vaccines out. But yet the people crossing the border are being released.
Right.
They're not being vaccinated.
That's
that
right.
we know of. We have all of these refugees coming over from Afghanistan. Now, what we've done in America with our health care and the sanitary conditions that we have, we don't see signs of the mumps and rubella and polio and all of those. But some of third world countries, they do still have incidences of those.
Right.
And it's really to protect the Americans. They should be, okay, we need to go through full inspections. And, you know, we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
But more than that, we are a country of laws.
Right.
And
we are a nation of laws.
Yeah. And if you supersede the laws out of heartfelt help of people coming in and, oh, you know what, we want to help everybody, but we can't circumvent the laws.
Right. And that's what I keep saying. You can't pick and choose the laws you get to enforce. I've told a lot of people as I've been out campaigning in the base, the Constitution doesn't always break your way, but you want people taking an oath to protect and defend it.
Right.
And, you know, you mentioned talking about my launch video and the rest. I said, same oath, new mission. Every U.S. senator, every member of the House, every president, every Supreme Court and federal district court judge takes an oath of office to protect and defend the Constitution. And it's clear to me that turning a blind eye to some laws and enforcing others is developing a situation that will become untenable to keep this republic together. You know, as you mentioned, what the problem we face is that I can debate people about public health. I was a state emergency manager. I do believe that if you're in certain risk categories, you need to take this seriously. It doesn't mean I don't love the rest of you, but I don't believe that this is it. But if you're asking me to, at the same time, release thousands and thousands, in this case, 1 million people with no testing or no vaccine, then you're really not serious about public health,
Right.
or you're really not serious about border security.
Well, you know, and even though I believe the Supreme Court upheld the stay in Mexico policy.
They did. The Remain in Mexico policy was upheld, which I do think in Arizona will be a big victory and will help our partners in Mexico be more aggressive in their enforcement of their southern border and those of violating their visas that travel in by air travel into the country, because they'll be stuck with that problem.
Right. Now, you know, we have all these people coming in, and we know that everybody needed to be transported out of Afghanistan. But we have some Americans and some people who assisted America and the contractors that were there, everybody who we had made a promise to, a solemn oath, that we would not leave you behind, yet they're still behind, and all of these refugees are here. Now, I don't know how, this must just tear at your heart.
Yeah, there are a lot of veterans of the past 20 years, and I tell people, I've told everybody I talk to this, every American needs to continue to thank those great young men and women that serve. Say thank you for your service when you see them, right? They have executed every tactical and operational mission flawlessly that they've been asked to do since this whole thing started. they are not responsible for the debacle that is the lack of strategic decision making, clearly defined objectives, and a clear exit strategy that's existed even before President Trump. It has existed, like I said, if you fight 20 consecutive one-year wars, I'll tell you this, Ray, I say it all the time, if you do not know where you're going, any road will take you there.
Right.
If you do not know where you're going, any road will take you there. Those young men and women, it's not their fault that they don't know where they're going. And my last engagements specific to Afghanistan was during 2010, beyond the role I played for 8 years having to make sure that we safely deployed soldiers and airmen there. But my last operational mission was operating MQ-1 Predators from Davis Monthan, 13,000 miles away in Afghanistan. And I can tell you, one day I had a young airman ask me, he said, Colonel McGuire, I was a colonel at the time, he said, when are we going to win the war on terror? And I said, when the needle gets on E. He said, what do you mean? I said, you got a car? Yeah. When it runs out of gas, where's the needle pointing? E. I said, when we run out of political, patriotic, and financial capital to conduct this operation, we will declare the war on terror won. But winning the war on terror is about as attainable as winning the war on narcissism.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Well said. Yeah, when
Just saying.
when I think about how everything was implemented, you're almost befuddled. You're in amazement that no, this is not the America that I know. This is not the America that I went to school growing up learning about. This is not what I learned in civics class.
But this is what I would say. Remember I told you that during the last year, not one person who's your neighbor was called to duty to go to the Navajo Nation, deliver food, ice, and water, was asked to augment Coconino County Sheriff for civil unrest, was asked to go out to Four Peaks to assist in wild. Not one of them said no. And I tell people all the time, they ask about this election and what's at stake, and I say, a defeated army is an army without hope. We are not a defeated army.
No.
We will raise an army of 2 million voters in this state to win back control of the Senate. And we're going to do it starting with this show and every other place out there that says, look, we're going to elect leaders that are there, that understand their oath of office. People ask me, do you want to be a United States Senator? Well, I'd like to stop the Republic from coming apart at the seams, but there are a lot of occupations that have much higher public trust than members of the U.S. Senate. You know what I mean? There are lots of occupations that are maybe in some ways less reputable even, that have greater public trust in being a member of the U.S. Senate.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to talk more about that, your upcoming run for the U.S. Senate here in Arizona. I'm speaking with Major General Michael T. McGuire. You are watching The Jay Lawrence Show. I am your guest host, Ray Michaels, and we will be right back. Don't go away.
Are you tired of the long lines and impersonal service you get at the post office? Well, we have a solution for you. Pack Mail is an all-in-one mail center conveniently located in the Fry Shopping Center at 3218 East Bell Road, right here in Phoenix. Owned and operated by Arizona residents Mark and Vicky Battaglia, you can be sure of getting personalized professional service. They will pack, crate, freight, and ship your items anywhere in the world. They work with all the major carriers like DHL, UPS, USPS, and Federal Express. Need an address for your home business or startup company? They have P.O. boxes on site where you can receive and pick up your mail anytime, and their knowledgeable and courteous staff will find a way to ship that awkward or heavy item. You can even have your packages picked up and delivered for a small fee. Their motto is, if you can imagine it, we can ship it. Drop in on the good folks at Pack Mail and let them do the work for you. Pack Mail can be reached at 602-971-2300 or email at info@weshipphoenix.com. That's Pack Mail, 602-971-2300 or info@weshipphoenix.com.
Hey folks, Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb here. With the increase in private businesses and even government organizations talking about mandating the vaccine, I wanted to let you know that here at the Pinal County Sheriff's Office, we do not mandate the vaccine, and as long as I'm your sheriff, we will never mandate the vaccine. We believe that your health choices are yours and yours alone, so whether you get the vaccine or don't get the vaccine, that's your private information. Here, we believe in America and freedom, and we're going to continue on with that. God bless.
Hello, Arizona. This is State Senate candidate Anthony Kern, District 20. And when I'm out fighting the woke culture in Arizona, I like to listen to the truth. I like to listen to the real scoop. And therefore, I listen to Hub Radio Phoenix, and you should too.
You have a great business, terrific products, outstanding services, so where is everybody? It's simple. They don't know you're here. Why not? We didn't tell them. Well, let me introduce you to the Media Maven. She is the expert in getting your advertising message to the right people, in the right places, for the right prices. She can make your business a household name. She can make this claim because she's been doing this for years for large and small businesses. You need an expert who knows who to talk to and how to make the best deal for your business. She has the right radio and television contacts for your budget, whatever it is. That's Kathy, the Media Maven. She can put you on the map, the one that leads to success and prosperity. Call Kathy, the Media Maven, at 602-524-0947. That's Kathy, the Media Maven, at 602-524-0947.
You're watching Jay Lawrence on Hub Radio Phoenix.
Well, welcome back to the Jay Lawrence Show. I am your guest host, Ray Michaels, and we have with us Major General Michael T. McGuire running for United States Senate here in the great state of Arizona.
In the great state of Arizona, that's right.
I'll tell you, well, 4 generations on your end.
Yeah, that's right. State 48.
Shoot, did they know Frank Lloyd Wright?
No, I don't
there wasn't
think
a lot
so.
of people back.
So.
There were
a lot of people down in Pima County, and
Yeah.
I live up here in Maricopa now. Been up here for 8 years.
Well, I'll tell you what. I had a chance to go to your website, electmic.com.
Yeah.
And wow, I pulled something out here, and you have a couple little taglines that, if you don't mind,
Go
can I
ahead.
read a couple of them? It says, "The mission has changed, but the oath is still the same." Wow, that just resonates with people. You know, the oath stays the same, but missions do change.
Sure.
Coming up. Now, here's one, "Ready to serve, let's get to work." Now, I seem to remember a great senator who actually ran for president from here in Arizona who said that same thing, let's get to work.
Right. Well, Barry Goldwater, I said during the break to you, you asked about the fact that we have lost both Senate seats here in the last 24 months.
Yeah,
And,
first time in 68
yeah, it's
years?
a long 68 years is a long
two
time that we have
Democrats,
two
yeah.
Democrats. And
Wow.
in 1952, when Barry Goldwater first ran for the United States Senate, he faced a registration disadvantage of 5-1. And CNN and 24-hour news wasn't on at that point. I think we were a little bit better off as a result of that. But no one was looking at this as a pickup opportunity, but he knew that this state was built around the rugged individualists that are our copper miners and our cattle growers and our cotton farmers. He worked hard in those rural counties, and that's my strategy right now, is to get out to the 13 rural counties, work hard in those counties, gain their support, make them the charter members of this campaign. And, you asked before the break, I mean what I say about that oath. I will not live a life less fulfilled if I'm not a U.S. Senator, but I will feel derelict in my duty if I watch the Republic come apart at the seams. And that's kind of where we are.
And we're seeing it every day. We're seeing every fabric of the Constitution, of the flag, of what we stand for. It's being removed one by one.
I'll tell you today, I literally, I was coming over here, I got a text from one of my team members about this executive order that Biden has issued about employers that have 100 or more being subject to potential OSHA fines through the Department of Labor if they don't mandate the vaccine. That's unconstitutional.
100%. 100%.
It is unconstitutional. Now, listen, if you're it clearly treads on private property rights and individual liberties. If an individual employer wants to mandate that under their provisions of employment law, that's completely different than the federal government mandating that on them. This is what I'm talking about. The left is on the march for centralized control. No one would do this if they did not think these Marxist ideologies have permeated our communities. I will tell you, I am not worried about existential threats. China is a real threat. the biggest threat. But the greatest threat to the Republic is the Republic. The greatest threat to the Republic is the Republic.
You know, originally when our government was set up and the three branches of government, the Senate was very unique in that they were selected by the state governments to go to Washington, D.C. for one specific reason: protect the states' rights.
Exactly.
So if Congress got together and they said, well, we're going to usurp this power from the state, which is what they're trying to do now, the Senate would say, no, you're not. And that's why the Senate picks the judiciary. That's why the Senate approves all of the big appointments. The Senate is an important place. But, you know, just historically, you don't see the Republican Party. When we have a majority, we just kind of have a laissez-faire attitude.
Sure.
But the Democrats are constantly fighting and
Yeah.
pushing and
Oh,
pushing
yeah.
and pushing.
Well,
are you a fighter?
I am, and I tell people, as I've watched this as in an apolitical office for 34 years a commissioned officer, 4 years a cadet prior to that, so 38 years in uniform, I like to tell people when the Democrats are in control, where they have both houses and the presidency, they play tackle football with knives. And when the Republicans get in control, we play badminton.
Yeah, and I don't understand that, but that's
I don't either.
the way it is.
I'm brand new to this. You know, I've been a candidate for
good.
like a week, and someone walked up to me and said, "What's it feel like to be a politician?" I said, "I feel the same way I felt yesterday." And so, you know, I think we have to understand that you only go there to represent the people of your great state.
Yeah.
And, you know, Mark Kelly, he campaigned and said that he was going to be an Arizona independent. 60 straight times he's voted with Chuck Schumer. Doesn't sound very independent to me.
No, but Chuck Schumer is a good breakdancer. Did you see him dance the other day? It's
Well, but
crazy.
I mean, he's clearly not independent. And so this is the opportunity that we have. We're
And
going to
it's-
raise an army of 2 million voters. And when people ask what makes you different than the rest, Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution says we'll raise an army and maintain a navy. Remember
right.
we talked about the lineage of the National Guard?
Right.
I'm the only guy that's been the commanding general of a group that had to raise an army, mobilize it, and get it on the streets to protect and defend and provide support to our communities, as well as deploy during that same time 1,000 of them overseas to Iraq or Afghanistan.
Yeah, and we need somebody there. You know, if somebody comes up and says to you, what does it feel like to be a politician? Say, I don't know.
I've never been one.
Yeah, I'm here to serve, and I will be a statesman.
That's right. I talked earlier. Dog catcher was unavailable.
All right, so on your website it says where the general stands,
There
and
we
you know
go.
what? You're sitting
I'm
here.
sitting where the
You're
general
sitting,
sits.
and you
right
said
to the right of Ray.
you said that you 38 years in uniform, and you come here and just dressed regular with jeans on.
Yeah, just
I put a
regular.
jacket on
I had a
tonight.
jacket. Nobody told me I'd give a jacket on
There's a
next time.
dress code on this show. You didn't know about that?
I did not know Jay had a dress code. I need
right.
to talk to Jay.
All right, so where you stand, you can see this on the website.
Yeah.
Advance American Exceptionalism. I like it.
Yes, this is the most exceptional country in the history of the world. If you watch my video, there's a line in there that I say, this is the greatest country in the history of the world. We need to act like it and stop apologizing. Our leadership is critical. This is it. America first means our interests prevail over all other interests. And if our interests are put at risk by a foreign actor, I'll be able to stand in front of you and explain why that actor is putting our interest at risk, how we intend to quickly wrestle back control of that situation, and what objectives we will put our blood and treasure at risk for, how we'll measure that objective, and how we'll get them home. Otherwise, we won't do it.
Is that foreign and domestic?
Foreign and domestic.
All right, perfect. All right. Defend the Second Amendment.
The Second Amendment pretexts the Constitution. Antonin Scalia writes a great piece, and he's passed away now, but I tell people I'm Antonin Scalia dressed up in a different outfit. Antonin Scalia did not always make the right very happy, but he always called balls and strikes based on the strict original interpretation of the Constitution. He said that the pretext of the Constitution was we won our liberty from King George based on the fact that we were armed. The Second Amendment is about protecting your freedoms from tyranny of the majority, tyranny of an individual. And Washington warned us tyranny of a majority was far worse than tyranny of an individual, and he lived 100 years before Marx.
And that's why we are not a democracy. We are a representative republic.
We are a constitutional republic and independent states. There's 2 S's in states.
And it's the United States.
That's right. There's 2
of
S's.
America.
I keep telling
All right,
them.
we got a couple minutes here. I want to get through this. Secure our border. We talked about that.
Yep.
High importance for you.
Build a wall and get the people there.
Protect life.
Life begins at conception. It's non-negotiable, and it's a states' rights issue.
And if you don't have life, you can't have liberty, and you cannot pursue
You
happiness.
cannot protect liberties and freedoms of people that aren't living.
All right, and last, uphold the Constitution. We talked about that a lot. You are a constitutionalist and a conservative. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Jay Lawrence Show. We have Major General Michael T. McGuire. You can reach him at electmic.com. That's electmic.com.
That's right.
Go find out what he is all about, support him, and know that he will be traveling to a lot of the rural areas in Arizona. If you live in a rural Arizona, make sure that you see the Major General as he comes out.
Yep, going to Apache, Navajo County next.
Fantastic. All right, this is the Jay Lawrence Show. We wish Jay the very best. He will be here. We anticipate he'll be here next week. I am your guest host for the night. I am Ray Michaels, and we thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again, Major General. So
Thanks,
great to have
Ray.
you here.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Neil
having me.
DeSanti, for helping
Thank
us
you
out
for
too.
the crew.
And this was the Jay Lawrence Show.
Thank you.